right, welcome everybody to Dave Cooper Live. We are back from our trip to England, London, the UK, whatever we want to call it. But man, we had such a wonderful time, and I'm looking forward to giving everybody an update as to what we did there. So, hot off a visit to UK today, we will bring a behind-the-scenes look at what steel framing looks like in the UK on the topics of parametric design, productization, advanced manufacturing, and the owner-builder relationship. Each place we visited had a different approach, but all were working toward the same goals: reducing complexity, adding value to the supply chain, and improving safety and efficiency every step of the way. Join us as we share behind-the-scenes look at Bryden Wood, the new Elizabeth line, Tottenham Court Station, Frameclad SFS, and British Offsite. This is round one of more conversations to come, including the decarbonization of steel, new advanced manufacturing facilities coming online, and telescoping steel studs. If you are interested in cold form steel or finding the right kit of parts for steel frame construction, you want to start here today on Dave Cooper Live. But first, we got to thank our sponsors. So a big shout out to Forward Solutions Group for allowing us to deliver these fine examples of construction innovation. Forward Solutions Group is successfully driving companies to succeed where others have failed. Learn more about Forward's recent acquisition of Modular, an ERP solution for offsite manufacturing. More information, please reach out to Ben Hershey, Ben at forwardsolutionsgroup.com. And a big shout out to Howick. And today's show is a Howick show, in my opinion. Howick Ltd has a long history of innovation in cold form steel manufacturing and produces innovative precision roll forming technology for customers throughout the U.S. and the world. Check out the new machine buyer's guide for offsite, modular construction, or fast build construction with light steel for framing. Go to their website, howickltd.com. So I don't even know where to begin. Planes, trains, and automobiles is what it's all been about for us. And we've been having a lot of fun bringing all of this to you. So if you want to know anything or you have any questions, please just put it in the comments. Otherwise, we're going to hop right into what we have been up to. I got a little PowerPoint behind the scenes presentation that we will share with you. But we also did a lot of filming. So with that said, you guys are going to see all kinds of innovation. You're going to see all kinds of processes that impact the value of the supply chain, the value adds. We're going to show you how manufacturing high-rise buildings using off-site panel technology has come about and what they are doing, all with light steel framing, which is going to be great. So with that said, let's hop into this here, and let me turn down some music in the background so I don't annoy the daylights out of everybody. But let's get into this, right? Here we are with Phil Langley, head of global designs at Bryden Wood. Now, I don't know if you understand Bryden Wood and what Bryden Wood's role is in the construction space, but they are a global player with offices around the world, and they are bringing new technology, new design capabilities, a different approach to how we work, not only behind the scenes to create the job, but all the way through the completion of the job within their offices. So if you're a manufacturer, you're a builder, you're a developer, and you want to take what you do to the next level, Bryden Wood are the people that can help you do it. And we're going to show you a couple examples of what they have done on a very large scale using technology. So how do you use tech to reduce build time and the complexity of the build? This is what we are doing here with Phil Langley. You will see in the background, they were using a generative design tool, but we are also using parametric design as well. So when we're talking about parametric design, we are talking about capabilities of being able to design things in a way that it populates itself and it works not only on buildings, but what you're going to see when we release the video, it works on roads and highways as well. So super excited about that. Jen's putting some stuff in the notes on what we have coming up. So I wanted to take a quick gander at that. All right, let's go through what we have here. So we sat down with Phil Langley, but we also met with Jamie Johnson. That's right, Jamie Johnson. And this is in the Elizabeth line. So how many of you out there have been to London? Raise your hand. Yeah, just kidding. But if you've been to London, there is the new Elizabeth line that has connected the city from, I believe it is east to west. Jen, correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. Connected the city east to west. Now, what is so unique about Tottenham Court Tube Station? Anybody out there know what's so unique about this and what Bryden Wood had a role for doing in the complexity of this? Well, we're going to tell you. Let me see here if I got some more upside. You can see these panels. Hey, there's some friends of ours going down into the station. But you see all the panels with all the little holes? You see the panels above our heads there hanging out with Felicity from the marketing team from Bryden Wood. All of those panels, 27,000 of them are unique. Unique. We're going to walk you through the whole process of how this tube station was designed and built. So when we say unique, yes, those look very conforming. The ones that we're showing right there. Let me see if we have an angled view. We'll show you the angled view in the video. But when you think of a tube station, you think about underground, it's all granite. It's all concrete. It's all sprayed. There is not an even surface anywhere. Even when you round things out, there's not an even surface. When you do a tube, they channel through the tube. They put granite, concrete all through it. All of these panels are unique and had to fit and mold a certain way. So how they did this, using Bryden Wood and the technology that they have to shoot the lasers, to pick two fixed points, the platform, and they put a fixed point on the ceiling. They took all of those geometric, shapes and measurements, brought them into their system, and then they were able to make the molds to do all of these panelized processes throughout, 27,000 of them. That's what's super amazing about this project. It is huge, and with technology, they were able to do it. However, you're not doing this without the technology. So wait until you see that show. It's going to be a great show. All right. Then we had the opportunity to talk about their new site, The Forge. That's right, The Forge. What you are looking at on the screen is a kit of parts. Buildings could be a kit of parts. There's a lot of similarities between buildings, hospitals, schools, commercial buildings, work offices. Imagine if you spent the time to understand what all of those similarities were. And then you could pull it together into a kit of parts like you're seeing here. What's happening, Joel Hutchins? Guess who we got to hang out with at the in London? Joel Hutchins himself. Yes, he is real. He does exist. And we had a lot of fun meeting with Joel and Michael Marks and so many other people. So, Joel, it was awesome to finally meet you in person after all these years and all the shows that we've done in the past. So this is what's really cool. So Bryden Wood is doing amazing things. Joel knows what I'm talking about. He'll understand the kit apart approach. That's what was super cool about Bryden Wood. Wait until you see what we're pulling together for this. You're going to learn something. You're going to appreciate how we can use generative and parametric design to speed up the process in a big way. I mean, speed it up not only by months, potentially years to design. And imagine building a highway where you click a button and it pulls in all the knowledge, all the information, all the elevations, all the rules and regulations between how water runoff should work on a road. They're doing that as well. So you combine these large projects and buildings with that, it's a win-win. All right, moving on. Our next visit was to a company called Frameclad. That's right, Frameclad. We went all the way to, well, not all the way, but pretty far up to North England. Took 3 hours, by the way. And there was a train strike happening the entire week we were there, which made things a little bit more challenging. But we went all the way up to Frameclad, Mark Munns, and to see what his team is doing in their facility. Now, what are they doing in their facility? They're using technology. They're using Howick machines, cold form steel machines, to add value to the supply chain. So how are they adding value to the supply chain? They have scalable manufacturing solutions where they can do everything from a very bespoke, simple one-off or difficult one-off project to some of the largest commercial building projects in the entire country. They got 2 full facilities. That's only a part of one of the facilities you see on the photo there. And what you see to the right is what the Frameclad machines are putting out, the Howick machines, which they have 5 of them. Now, what's interesting about how they're adding value, say, all right, well, they're panelizing using metal and using cold form steel machines to put it out the door. But they have an entire engineering staff that is working with some of the largest builders in the country. And they are coming up with very unique approaches to how they build, to include the delivery sequence of the build. So when it shows up at the site, it comes off in the order that it needs to come off in. And it's accurate. And I think that's what's super cool about what they're doing at Frameclad. They do not say no to very much of anything. Here in this picture, you can see us standing there having a conversation with one of the techs that works there. And then you got Mark Munns right to the left of me. I'm in the orange, obviously. And then what you see behind us are the different size rolls of the cold form steel. And then in that right-hand picture, you can see some floor cassettes with the holes already put in them. That's right. Already done, already punched, already ready to go. And when this machine that you see on the left side here, I don't know if you can see my cursor, punches it out, it gets punched out in a very specific sequence. So it's just plug and play. It's like a big Lego set. Legos by numbers, as we like to say. So we had a great time at Frameclad. Here's some more interior photos of what they are doing. But adding value to the supply chain is what people are really looking at. How do you make it better for the next person in line? How do you make it better for the next person in line? How do you add value with your product to the next person in line? Or how do you add more value by doing more in the manufacturing facility for the next person in line and then be a part of that team? We're going to bring all of that to you. We got some great videos. We did factory tours here as well. So please stay tuned for that. That is going to be coming out as well. All right. Now, we moved back to London after it was like a 5-hour journey home because the tube strike took us forever. That's okay. We had good company. And we ended up at British Offsite. Weston Homes. Hanging out with Sean Weston and Paul Cashman. Sean Weston and Paul Cashman. And we got the tour of this project you see on the screen here. High-rise residential buildings. That is all of the buildings. We didn't have, obviously, an opportunity to tour all of them. But I can tell you now, we ran up and down scaffolding. We rode the old construction elevators on the outside. And we learned about what Weston Homes is doing. British Offsite is part of Weston Homes. Sean Weston is 3rd generation. 3rd generation that came in to dad and grandpa or whoever and said, listen, there's a better way to do this. Just give me a small part of the factory or of the storage facility that they have and let me work on a prototype to speed up how we build, reduce the carbon footprint, more energy efficient, more sustainable, and I'm going to design something that when we pour the concrete above, you're dried in underneath. You could have literally people moving in while you're still working on the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, all the way 20 plus floors up. Is it possible? It is. They have come up with a really cool system. And guess what? They didn't develop any new products. They've taken existing products, existing technology. They came up with some new processes with them. And we're going to talk about a little bit about that right now and in the video. So here we are. We're inside the prototyping facility. So you can see to the left, we got Sean, we got Paul in there. We got the Howick team, Jennifer to the right, Nick Cabray, the CEO of Howick. All of this running off of his machines. And again, Nick is also, I think Nick's 3rd generation as well. But you can see how small that production line is over on the left-hand side. But guess what? There's a new production facility because this has worked so well that they are putting in tens of millions of dollars behind the new facility and I think it's 137,000 square feet. I maybe did a post that was 237. Maybe it was, but it's a big facility. That's how well this has worked using the light framing, the steel system from the Howick machines. So what are we talking about here? All right. You can see the brown, the panels there. That's part of the interior wall panels. And then you can see the Parry Skydeck above. So what is a Parry Skydeck? That basically is a modular concrete floor pouring system. You raise it up. You see them in high-rise buildings all the time, and then it can be popped out after the concrete above is poured. But here is the beauty of this system. All the interior and exterior walls have the framing, have the installation, have the windows, have the doors already installed on them. As you can see in this photo here to the right, it's already installed. And yes, I'm not going to give you all the details yet because we're working on this awesome video. It's going to take you through the factory all the way through the setting of these modules on the high-rise building. But the way the system works, you could pretty much lay out the entire first floor of this building in one day. In one day. Right? Put in your framing for your concrete system and then pour the concrete on top the next day. How does this all tie together, you may ask? Well, you're going to have to stay tuned for that. The other cool thing about this project, you got Raminitov, I can say the name right, on the left, who is the senior project manager for this entire job site. How awesome is that? We need to celebrate. When it comes to offsite construction, attention to detail is key. And sorry, fellas, but we all know that women have better attention to detail than what we have. And that's me sitting there giving Sean some crazy look as he's explaining this wall system to us. But you can see on that wall, they already have the framing up. You can already run all your wires and everything run vertically down. Nothing goes across. Everything comes straight down and ties in. They'll put their sheetrock or gypsum board or whatever they're going to use up in there for that. Now, here's a picture of the actual wall. In fact, let me see what I have. Yeah, I want to show that too. So here's the picture of the actual wall system. You got an exterior wall in the far back of that picture, and then you also have some interior walls laying down in front and the closest to you in this photo. And then this machine here, if you can see it, not even machine, the pick bar, that's what they use to pick these walls into place. And as you can see, there's high-rise crane towers all around us. I think I counted like 5 or 6 on this project. It's that big. But these are the wall units that are going to be hoisted into place. And now not only do these wall units can be hoisted into place, if you can see in that bottom left side right at the top there, and we'll show more of that, it already has the MEP built into it. What? Well, not the full MEP system, but the access points and where everything goes, because these are being done with precision. And I am talking within millimeters of precision. And they have to leave a little bit of space because if you're familiar with high-rise buildings, you're building your concrete columns, your steel columns. Well, that's not a perfect process. So there is a little bit of wiggle room, but there's a system built into place. And then they get lifted into place. And that's what they look like on the outside wall. So here we are up. I think we are up 8 stories at this point. Anybody out there know what that big steel trough looking thing is around the outside? Because where you see the scaffolding, once you remove that scaffolding, it's a straight nosedive to the ground level. Does anybody know, and if you can see my cursor, I'm not sure if you can or not, what this trough is across here? Take some guess, put it in the comments. We'll get back to you on it. But the way this system works, that's the modular system we were talking about. See the floor there? That all comes down. You pour the concrete. That trough catches the concrete. But it does more than just catch the concrete. It does more than just catch the concrete. Does anybody know what it does and how this whole system comes together and becomes watertight as soon as that concrete's poured? Everything below it becomes watertight. How does that work, you may ask? And then, of course, you can see the rebar over in the middle. That's just where the column will keep getting poured as they go up. That'll be the structural columns that go all the way down to the grade beams and the footers and everything else that's here. So there you go. Give you some idea where we were and how high we were. And just so you know, that is the floor of another floor below. That's not all the way down. If you look over to that right corner, you can see that there's another drop that goes down even further. But you can see the wall panels and you can see that trough looking system. And I'll tell you what the name of it is when we do our video. Check it out. This is something you need to really look at and be prepared to understand. It was a really cool opportunity. And then here we are at their new facility. Steel Horizon's new facility. I'm standing there with Sean. Well, there's Sean and Paul there, and I was standing there taking a picture. They're in front of the new facility. But to the left, this is what's cool. To the left, a $500 virtual reality machine has allowed them, using a Google visualization tool, to design their entire warehouse, their entire production facility, fully automated, I might add, because they did this in a prototype. They didn't just go pouring money into this new factory. Fully automated. There they are to the left. There's me walking around this factory to the right, which does not even exist yet. So how cool is that? So we're going to talk about all that. And then, of course, we have the views. Steel Horizon is why we were there. We were there with one of our sponsors, Howick Ltd. Howick produces machines that do incredible framing using steel. And I really didn't understand it until this trip, what they could do. If you watched our Monday show, you would see the complexity that these machines can actually put out and what they can design. It takes it to an entirely new level that you're not doing with wood anytime soon, or without some of the best craftsmen in the world. And they're hard to come by these days. But digitally, we can do all of that. So Steel Horizons brought people in from all around the world: Czech Republic, Poland, England, United States, Colorado, from everywhere, Denmark, to talk about the future of construction. We had Bryden Wood speaking there. We had a lot of great speakers, as a matter of fact. There you go, Nicola Moriarty from Bryden Wood. She was one of the keynote speakers. There you are. I guess I wasn't in my seat. Should I have been in my seat? I don't know. I was a speaker there. Matthew Teague, Tata Steel, the largest producer of steel in all of England. We're going to hopefully go back there and talk about how they are reducing their carbon footprint and the technology they are doing. They have built an entire research lab on how to do this. So for that back and forth on yes or no, steel or wood, wood or steel, I think you might be surprised what's coming down the pipe and what they're doing. It'll be really interesting. Hopefully we're going to have Matthew Teague from Tata Steel on the show so we can talk about those things. Chung King Lee from Creod. Back to that parametric design, generative design. I mean, they are doing amazing things with their architecture over there in the MMC space. That's what they call it, modern methods of construction. We're going to have Chung on as well, which I think is going to be great. So we really look forward to it. Super smart individual doing amazing things. Joe, if you're watching, you guys might want to connect too. He has your brain power, man. Definitely does. And then we got some of the Howick team. We got Cindy, who pulled all of this together. We got Dion, Mr. Anderson, as we would call him, all the way on the far right. And then, no stranger to the show, we have Christoph Drost from IQ Module Bud Investment. That's right. Christoph was there as well. And I think if any of you ever reached out to Christoph and talked about some of the shows we go to, he will tell you flat out that he does more business going to these events and us showing him and introducing and hanging out together. So it was great that Christoph showed up at this event as well. So just for you guys to know out there, reach out to Christoph if you want to know what's going on in the world. That guy just knows everybody. So super excited. And he was on vacation. He took time from his vacation. So hopefully his wife doesn't call me and kill me. But appreciate all of them, and I appreciate the Howick team for everything they have done. There's Nick Cabre talking about their new machine. That's right, the Extenda 3600. I don't even know what to say about this. Let's think about a cold steel stud. You can buy them at Home Depot, Lowe's, any hardware store. Steel stud. Imagine if one steel stud could be 8 foot, 9 foot, 10 foot, or 12 foot. What? Imagine if one steel stud could be 8 foot, 9 foot, 10 foot, 12 foot, 13 foot. How about 9 foot 2? How about 9 foot 3? They have invented a machine that prints out the cold form steel stud, and then it has a collapsible adjustment to it. So imagine if you're doing a renovation and you got to go in and you got to renovate and you got modular coming in or you got panelized coming in, but you still got to make those connection points. Imagine if you could do a steel wall that could adjust like that on site just by pushing up and down. It's simple stuff. In theory, But they have done it. They've done the engineering behind it. They have a machine that does this. Think about how easy that is, carrying this wall into a building, having it compacted down to 8 foot or 6 foot. You get into where you need to go, and you just raise it up, lock it in, zip, zip, zip into the ceiling or whatever. Your side walls are straight. They've done it. It's a game changer. Super cool. You want to check it out. You can see it right there. Extended 3600. That is the CEO. And then there's the view. The view that we had at the New Zealand house, which was the embassy, was right there. So that's Jennifer and I after the event, maybe before the event. I don't know. I got that gleam in my eyes. It might have been after the event, after a cocktail or two. But that's where all of this took place. And believe it or not, we thought for sure that, with the tube strikes and everything else that were going on, that this event may or may not take place. The tube, that's like shutting down the tubes in New York City, the subway station. It just brings things to a halt. But believe it or not, it was just the opposite. It was just the opposite. There was standing room only. It's kind of good that some people maybe weren't able to attend. It got so packed. It was wonderful to see how many people wanted to come together and have this global conversation on what we're doing, where we're headed, and who we're doing it with and who we're heading there with. I think that's all super cool. All right. Let me just say hello to a few people here I see in the comments. So my good buddy, Joel. Yes, we had a wonderful dinner and a couple cocktails with Mr. Joel. It was good seeing you. Mark Munn, CEO, Frameclad. We were just talking about you, Mark. You just tuning in now. Where you been, man? Tuning in about what they were doing. Just giving an update. If you don't know Frameclad, you don't know Mark Munn, you definitely want to connect with them. Super great hospitality. Enjoyed every moment we spent together. Oh, there you go. There's my mom. Hey, from Pittsburgh, everybody. Be nice to my mother. She's joining and saying hi. Haven't seen her in a while, but I'll see you next week. All right, moving in. Damien. What's happening, Damien? Dave, great show today, showcasing some of what the UK has to offer in the offsite sector. You know what, Damien? I appreciate it. I've tried to keep this at just a high, quick level. There is so much cool stuff we're going to show you. We had a film crew with us the entire way. There's going to be some really great stuff coming out of this. We're heading to Switzerland next. Possibly you'll see me in Ireland the end of next month. So the international travel is really picking up, and we're going to keep showcasing everything to everybody out there. Hey, Kevin Brock. How do you say? Kevin Brock Lesby. All right. Awesome how you guys are presenting the innovation that's going on the UK. Way to go, Dave. Looking forward to the rest of the videos in the series and showcasing what the UK are doing. Yeah. It's amazing. There's some really great stuff happening here. And I will say, Kevin, Damien, and others, that they are doing some pretty amazing stuff that we're not doing yet. They have some of the same problems that we have, and that is the acceptance of it, the acceptance of offsite construction, changing over the old guard. So, but otherwise, they're thinking differently. It's being built into their code. They're concerned about the environment. They're concerned about how we build it better. They have the same affordability issues that we have here. They have the same homelessness, and crisis that comes along with the affordable issue that we have here. So you guys stay tuned. We got a lot coming up. We got a lot of videos. In fact, we're going to be releasing stuff hopefully in the next 2 weeks or so here and get all of that out to you. And then we got some big shows coming up. We got Black Buffalo 3D printing coming back on the show July 6th. So you want to stay tuned for that with Michael Woods, the CEO. That's right, Black Buffalo. You'd be surprised how big they are. It's not just 3D printing. They have other businesses all tied together in the offsite space. And BS Friday Live on July 1st with Massani. You want to know what Massani is? Radiant Cooling is for everybody is the name of that show. Wait until you see this system. Massani, you can put it right on the ceiling. Dunk, dunk, dunk. Put it up, clip it together. It just locks into place. We're finally going to the next level, folks. Finally going to the next level. Damien says it right. So important we keep collaborating and sharing for the greater good of the industry. Damien, some things that I've learned. What did I do here? Oop, evening, Dave. Let me go back to that. Sorry. Evening, Dave. What did you say the metal concrete catching system, which also made it watertight, was called? Ah, Charles, I didn't say it. I didn't. Gonna have to watch it. We got a whole video coming out on this, Charles. It's something that they have created. But the way this gets poured and the way everything seals together, I think is super, super unique. So just stay tuned for that. I will put it out. We decided that, with them, in Weston Homes. Weston Homes is a big home builder over there. Do you see the size of that project and all those buildings? We're going to kind of roll this out so it makes sense. We're going to do the factory tour, and we're going to release how the panels not only are made and what all those systems are. I was calling it a trough. Even when I was on site, Charles, I took my Americanism over there, which I'm quite proud of, by the way. But we had a lot of fun with that. And I think they have a different name for what that is. But that's how everything gets finally locked together, and you'll see how that works. So awesome, super stuff. So I appreciate that. And Damien, getting back to what you were saying as well, let me get that Radiant Cooling logo off there. Collaboration is key, all right? And I said this even when we were speaking to Howard. We need to keep talking to each other. We need to keep working together. We need to drive this industry forward. Nobody has something so great that it's going to change the world. Maybe you do. Well, if you do, share it, because the world's hurting right now for housing and affordability and everything else. But we need to keep collaborating, working together. It's a global economy. That's the first thing. The second thing is the technology exists. Other industries are using it. Think about what's out there and how you can use these technologies within your business. Now, parametric design and all that, generative design, okay, it's newer to our industry. But other technology, which you will see with Bryden Wood, the Forge, and other projects that we have, the technology exists. How do you make it work for your business? And this is some of the successes we were seeing over in London and the UK and elsewhere. How do you make it work for your business? And I think that's what we need to focus on. So, all right, everybody, listen, that's a wrap for today. Sorry, we were running a little bit behind schedule, but we will be coming to you live Wednesday from Pittsburgh. That's right. We're in the Carolinas right now. We'll be heading up to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and we're going to start to build out of the new studio and bring you some more stuff as we move forward. And we have some new sponsorship opportunities. If anybody's interested, reach out. You want your name to flash up at the end of this show, reach out to us. There's only so many spots, 6 spots per show. Reach out. We'd love to share it with you if you're interested. Otherwise, I hope everybody has a wonderful day, Greg Ugaldi included. Keep it coming. I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day. We're going to get back to doing what we do best. That's finding the next guest. That's going to the next location to bring innovation to you. Let's build it better, everyone. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. Great content coming your way. Bye now.